Right, so let's just...
Can everybody see the... I don't know if you need to move it. Can we all see?
Yeah.
Is everyone...
Can you all see? Chaps?
Can you... Right, so freedom.
You didn't have to write it on that, you know.
Sorry?
You didn't have to write it on that.
Yeah,
Free to
the
write it.
freedom.
Free to write whatever you like.
Not on the walls, please.
So, this 7-lettered word, what springs to mind?
Choice.
Choice. In what way choice?
Just the freedom to choose. The freedom for me to choose what I want to choose, not because you want me to choose it.
Okay,
Choice.
so I'll just put me to choose. Yeah?
But too many times we're told what to do by outside influences, and I don't think that's freedom.
So if I put over here, telling, and cross that out,
It's one of the most liberating things I've been able to do with my teenagers is give them the freedom to choose. When they say, "What do you think I should do, Mum?" I never tell them.
so how does liberating relate to freedom? Is it?
Well, it means the same thing, doesn't it? You know, it's that free. It's just the word free is liberating. It's expressive. Individual expression. Which is such an important word to me. I didn't actually realise how important it was, and I had my daughter's name for her when I was 14, even before and her name is Liberty.
Yeah, liberation. Go write that on there.
Liberation.
Or you could draw it, Dave. That's fine. There we go.
Yay! Love that.
There's the first. Be collaboration first.
Winning.
Winning.
Okay. Anyone else?
No constraints.
No constraints. So is that, I'll do it this way.
Unbound in a way.
Okay.
Alison's got one, but she's being shy.
I'm not being shy. I've got no voice.
Whisper.
Come on, what's it? Oh, freedom to, well, see, like a release. Not relief, release.
Release.
You can release yourself.
Okay.
Let go. Living life on your terms. Rowing your own boat.
I think freedom is also about respect for others,
Yeah.
because with it comes a responsibility, because it's fine to be free, but to be free to run around shooting others is not, that's not what freedom is about.
Let others have freedom.
So it's interesting. So when you're saying respect for others, is that actually putting a little bit of a small constraint on freedom, or is that?
It's about self-responsibility, and taking care of others, and how can I express this best? So you allow others to be who they are, and you don't go and shoot them down for even if what they do is not something that you would do. And it's about not hurting other people or doing things that's hurtful for other people. So when freedom is only freedom when it's safe for you and other people. And by safe I mean physically safe, mentally safe, emotionally safe, and all those kind of safe.
So I'm hearing from there that safe is quite an important element in freedom. Does
Safe as in not harmful. Not harmful to
Mutual
others.
safety, is it?
Yeah.
Does safe come before freedom? Does safe come after freedom?
Safe comes as a result of freedom. Personally.
But you can't have true freedom if others are constrained.
No.
I think that's what we are.
You can't free yourself by locking other people up.
No.
Yeah.
Others
no.
have to be free. It's mutual safety.
Yeah, that's a good summary.
Mm.
Thank you.
See, they were listening. That's good.
Yeah. So you can only be free if those around you are free as well.
Mutual respect.
Yeah.
Respect was one of the first words you
Yeah.
said, wasn't it?
Mutual respect. It's a mutual thing.
So, question then, as someone who's just observing the conversation, when Erkin was saying out there's a different paradigm where people are not free, can we have freedom ourselves?
Yes.
Yeah, because we can still have choice.
So is it mutual respect, or is it one-way respect?
No, but they're not free out there. It's not because of our actions that they're in prison. We're trying to free them as well.
Yes, but the question was, when we talk about mutual respect, that's a two-way thing.
It's got
Two
to
with
start with
three.
one. It's got to start
So
with
I
one.
was just wondering whether actually freedom is your respect for them, even if they're not respecting back.
Exactly, yes.
So therefore, that's almost being
Yeah.
comfortable with one-way respect, but not
Yes.
hoping that mutual
Yeah.
respect will come, but
No.
you get my respect.
No.
Anyway.
So, as an example, Viktor Frankl, in his situation, had a respect for the people that they were doing their job, and therefore he was free, even though he was a captive. He was
Yes.
mentally free.
The word
Okay.
that comes to mind
Yes.
is truth. He was in his truth,
Yeah.
which then opens up the space for other people to come into theirs, but it has to start somewhere, and it's the ones that are big enough
Yeah.
Okay, so
to be free first.
there's a word there coming, which is truth.
Yeah. Trust.
Truth,
Yeah.
trust.
You've got people that can't be free, even though they'd like to be safe. Someone, for example, with really serious dementia or Alzheimer's, they're trapped within their own head, so they can't be free. I don't know why I just said that, it just came into my head.
I was just about to say, probably they
Yeah.
are free.
Yes.
Aren't they free?
It's
from
our
their conscious-
perception.
Because
Yeah.
they don't know, it's us that suffers because they don't know what's going on, but in a way, they're not free to make their own will in their own way because they don't know where they are, who they are, or what they. And the reason I say this is because my grandmother had it for 10 years, and she didn't know who we were or where she was. She had to be fed. And I think, well, that's not really freedom, is it? That's like being in prison. But then she didn't know.
Yeah, in the material world it's not freedom, but she's free in herself because she's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
caught up in her conscious mind.
Yeah.
As far as we know.
It's
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we're not free because we're trapped in
Yeah.
her. I use the word disability, it's not a disability, but
Dilemma.
Yeah.
we're all trapped
Condition.
in condition.
We're
I mean,
attached. Yeah.
Yeah.
sadly she's passed away now, but for 10 years she had that, and we were trapped if she was free.
Yeah.
Just something that came into my head.
So that's an interesting thing where someone is influencing us very subtly. So you said to me when we were talking about the, I think the theme that you introduced, like influences are from us from childhood, and we may have forgotten about them, but they appear in unexpected ways in situations that we thought, oh, I didn't realise I was like that until something comes, and we realise that maybe there's a situation where we're not really being ourselves because that person was showing, in dementia case, so maybe that person is, I'm feeling sorry for them, rather than actually saying, well, I need to be liberated, I need to be myself without that other person influencing them.
Yeah.
So in that sense, I'm not really true to be myself because I can't be free around that person.
Or is it freedom's an intangible thing, and what Alison is talking about is the fact that they're trapped in a material world because they have to do things for a person who can't do it for themselves, but freedom is actually an intangible thing.
Yeah.
It's an invisible thing, it's still a choice, like Viktor Frankl. He was trapped by his
physical
condition,
Yeah.
his circumstance rather, but he still chose to be free
Yeah.
in an intangible way.
Mandela said the same thing when he was in prison. You know, these prison walls. I'm here in these prison
Yeah.
walls, but my mind is free
Yeah.
as an eagle.
Mm.
Yeah, like it.
Okay.
Yeah, can I just say also, these core values are specifically to do with this community. And one of the things when we were writing them, it was this idea of putting great people in a room. And one thing I get, one of the feedbacks we get about people can turn up and they just feel like we've heard this many times, haven't we, Jill? I feel like I'm home.
Mm.
And for me that means I'm free to be me.
Yeah.
I don't have to impress anyone. I don't have to. There's nothing to prove. Everyone's pulling for my greatness. I don't have to have a concern. I can just be free in the moment to be with the people in this community. I think Vanessa's got something.
There's twice that popped into my head, and I lost it again. Judgment is the lack of judgment.
Yes.
The unfiltered, that raw,
Yeah.
essential.
Well, if you feel like nobody's judging you, then
Yeah.
it's like that. What's that thing? Dance like no one's watching you, and you know that whole thing. It's like actually you're free of others.
Opinions
Opinion
and
of
thoughts of you, yeah.
I think
And it's
with
also
the-
about your own opinions and thoughts. Yeah.
I think so when the freedom for me is a constant moving state. Because you can be free, you know, you can come out and be from another meeting and come here for free. I think one of the things that makes it more really powerful in the community, for me, is about freedom, is about when you're on the right path, you feel free. If you're doing something you really love, you've got the time for it, you can make the time for it, you know, there's no such thing as I'm busy because I can make the time for it. You know, I've been playing golf for 9 years and now I'm playing twice a week because, you know, it's because of being on the right path and knowing what I'm doing and a sense of freedom. What we find in these rooms where we get in big collaboration, what I get empowered by, is that it's a collection of people that all seem to be on the right path at that particular time. And then we're all in such a freedom state, and that feeling is powerful for me. To come out of these rooms feeling absolutely energised and thinking better about the world, you naturally go and treat the next person that you bump into, whoever it is, outside the world, better because of it. And it is for me that we're on that right path, you know, within the community. And that freedom is that state of being, actually when they come and go, we come home and all that, it's actually because we're giving them freedom to think big, with people empowering them within the room. You know, the energy, you know, people not putting you down, you know, people not looking at what's...
Can I just challenge the room for a sec? So I heard what I heard, right? And everybody here probably heard something different. Who heard the word about being on the right path? Did that grate you in any way? On the right path. It grated me a little bit.
It grates you.
It's a judgment.
It's a judgment, right? Right. And that's my judgment.
No, your answer, not
No,
saying
no,
you're
no.
on the right path.
No,
I feel that my freedom to me
Yes,
is
hear
that
me
I'm
out.
on the right path. And it gives me
Yeah,
freedom.
yes, I would take that. So the point I'm making is that grated me. You saying that?
That's
Not
your
on-
own shit, isn't it?
No, you're not. Hear me out. That grated me personally that you said it, because in that I hear there's a judgment, there's a wrong or right path, right? But in the moment, no, hear me out. In the moment, I'm listening you from freedom, so you can express yourself. For you, so you may hear someone say something that doesn't fit your model, or your understanding, or your background. But in this community, remember, we're not saying that we're promoting or saying this is the way things are. What we're saying, this is a space for us to all share our knowledge wherever we are. Yeah? I'm not saying that I'm hooked by you saying the right path. I'm saying, if you heard something in someone else when they say it, you go, well, that doesn't work that way. Straight away, something's triggered. There's no freedom for you if people hear the right path and judge you because you're saying the right path.
No, there's no freedom for the person that heard it.
Yes, but there's also his existence in another person's listening.
But it's that
Have I gone too
person's
far?
I didn't get it.
You didn't get it?
interpretation.
Okay. I think Rihanna got it. I think Rihanna got it.
It's that person's interpretation of what you said.
But you're saying he's not free for saying that.
Well, think about it, right? Where does anybody exist when they talk?
In their own perception.
No.
In the perception of I'm not who I think I am, I'm not who you think I am.
I'm who you're who I think you are.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if we listen to each other in a way that doesn't allow for freedom, if we listen in judgment like the right way, the right path. To me, I hear judgment in that. But I noticed and I heard it, and I just let it go because I'm more interested in who Scott is and his contribution and commitment to the group rather than my own filter.
Yeah.
There wasn't judgment. I wasn't talking about PR. I was talking about me. It'll give me the sense of freedom. Is when I'm on the right path, I get a sense of freedom.
So it's not about what you're saying; it's what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
But I heard
That's
that
what it
was his interpretation, his path,
Yes.
nothing else.
And his
So
choice of word of right could possibly be true,
it,
honest,
but it
Flow.
didn't,
flow, yeah.
but it didn't grate for me. 'Cause it,
No,
I'm just saying how we all
Yeah,
heard different
yeah,
things.
that's
I
the
heard Scott got that he's on the right path for him.
So I,
And I just heard,
He feels freedom.
So one of the things that I just want to, that I noticed as an observer here, is our ability to be free with discord within the group.
Yes. Exactly.
So therefore, and I've experienced when I've said something outside of the group when I first came here, was people would then say, actually, I'll share what Scott said, and I think you need to. So there's a sort of freedom to either accept or not what someone said, which is a sort of wider context. There's lots of freed ideas, and another thing you said was we're always moving somewhere. So someone will say here, and it might not be that person will move me forward or not. It might not be, but the freedom to hold on to somewhere as this is where I am at the moment because that's where I'm comfortable with, or move on, I think is a more complex thing where we allow ourselves to be completely at odds with each other in a creative tension type way. Which I think if we can get to that dynamic will be quite tremendous.
And that brings in your terms of mutual respect that Rihanna was talking about. You think what you think and you're allowed to say what you think and I'm the same.
Which is, in my words, I use that as creative tension. And the more individuals collaborate, and I've gone out collaborating in the real world, making it work in a commercial sense is where it falls down, because people say, well, actually, you're not taking my views on board, and it all gets the phrase I have for myself is this room out there. So everyone who's not in this room, when you're at your desk, are you being freedom out there, or is it just Friday afternoon value, or is it a real value that we take out there?
I want to make an observation, if I may.
Very quickly, because we're finishing
Very
now.
quickly.
We're already over time.
If we were, like Mandela was, living in apartheid, where they were not free, physically being able to choose where they wanted to live, where they wanted to go to school, etc., this conversation about freedom would be at a very, if I put it, physical level. We've had a much higher, a different kind of discussion around freedom, much more conceptual, and that's because we live in a free society.
Very lucky, very blessed. And I think on that note,
Thank you for everyone.
thank you very much.